maybe. Hey, and welcome back to another Pro 632 radio show. Post race, we are going to have JC Beattie with us here today. He's back-to-back wins in the PDRI Pro 632 class, and Jason has to wear white sunglasses. Yes, that's true. We're going to get to those stories and more right now. Jason.
All right. I'd like to congratulate JC on his back-to-back win, and which was and also kicking my teeth in there, second round. Appreciate it. Trying to get as I'm trying to get a little bit ahead for my last race, but moving on to that. What's the preparation that you did for the back-to-back?
We got the motor back not quite 2 weeks before the season started, and got it in there and went straight to the racetrack and started testing. Tested enough and put enough laps on it the first two races that it's back in Texas right now at rear to get looked at.
That's a lot of runs.
Yeah, well, I wish it was more runs, but it's as many as I think we can do without getting worried, because we've got a nice little break right now with 3 weeks between races, and I figured I might as well do it now because the next time it'll be 40-ish when we get to it again. So and we ran at Darlington. We had trouble with the race pack after the first run, and we didn't have any EGTs all weekend, so we were just reading plugs and going off 202s. So we were a little concerned with what we saw, but it stayed together. Obviously, maybe it showed itself a little bit. We got outran in qualifying at Galot and in the final. If he wasn't red, then that'd have been his race.
Yeah. What happened there? Because you've been fast all day.
But still, we've had the same tires on it since I don't know. I guess they're 2.5 years old, but they didn't have any laps because we didn't run the car forever. So they were just sitting there, and we started running them. 48, 50 runs or so on them. So I started getting concerned. I mounted up a new set, scuffed them in. We finished Darlington, and for first qualifier, we put on the new set. I can't say they were worse. They certainly weren't any better, but we didn't like what we saw enough that for the final, we put the old set back on just to see what happened. If you get a little too aggressive with the tune-up, and then the traction control is just going to slow it down to make sure it goes A to B and gets down. I'd rather go A to B than knock tires off and be sitting. So I think that's all it was. And we haven't touched a bar angle in the back or anything since the end of last season either, and we might have to jump back in there and see what's going on.
Now, do you have a chassis guy that helps you out with that, or is that something that you do?
I am certainly not a chassis guy. We know a little bit, but I rely on. I don't have a dedicated chassis guy. I just kind of reach out to a few guys I know, or Chris will steer us in the right direction. Reedy with which way to go. If we have some questions I can't get answered. So yeah, we're real lucky. The car came and we put a setup in it that Todd, who spent years at a fabrication shop at HFR, Henry Freifogel, we just kind of started with a baseline, bar angles and pinion angle and everything else in it, and just tweaked it from there. We've had a little bit of help along the way here and there, but just really lucky that the car works well. It's a 2018 Bickle car from Ricky Smith. So it's a good car. If anything he had, it's a good car. So we've been lucky in that aspect.
That car being a former Ricky Smith car, do you have access to tap into him for some of that vast knowledge that he has?
Never said a word to the man. Never met him. I don't, he's obviously a wealth of knowledge, 2 lifetimes on me for all that stuff. But I think it's kind of like anything we need to do. We're so underpowered compared to, like, even when I talk to Chris about his, before he had Carson's car, he's like, oh, it needs more power. I'm like, we don't have any more power. What else can we do? And so I think that would be about the same from him. I can say when we got that car from Ricky, it was, I got it from Bickle, via Ricky, and it was immaculate. For as much as the guy races, I don't know how he keeps his stuff so nice.
I'll tell you one thing that I see a lot of guys struggle with. What you just touched on is, us by class rule with cubic inch and nitrous limitations and all that stuff, we don't have vast amounts of power. So we got to utilize and make these cars very efficient. And a lot of guys that are maybe never raced 632 before think about how easy it's going to be to just take a 632 and put it in a pro mod or pro stock style chassis and go out there and run real fast. And we've seen a lot of really smart guys have those struggles, and seems like you guys picked it up pretty quick. So yeah, tapping into some of those resources that you have industry wide certainly seems to have shortened the learning curve for sure.
He went from NA to nitrous and in over a season, and then comes out and is now the points leader, winning back to back. So there's something there somewhere, some magic voodoo somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, good power, good car, good program, and I'm sure there's a lot of hard work behind the scenes that we don't get to see, but you get to feel, and has great results. So hats off to what you guys have achieved thus far in the year.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there's you guys know how it is. The race car's a work in progress. It's never done.
Never done.
So, you're always looking for the next thing. And, at some point you're looking for tenths when you start. And then from there, you're looking for hundreds. And at the end of the day, you're looking for thousands. It takes some thousands to get to a hundredth. And that's where you're at.
That's it for sure.
So when you left Darlington, knowing that you had to race Melnick, tough competitor, and then to go to the final, what's your mindset when you're sitting home for 2.5 weeks?
Oh, as the longest time between rounds ever. And last time I had to do that was Bristol when we first ran the car, and then remember it rained the end of last year at Bristol, and I had you first round and kept the steering wheel on and went down the track, and then I think it was second round was going to be Melnick, and that was at the next race, and he whooped us. So I was hoping the tables would turn. Those guys are 2-time champions. So what else can you say? Anytime you unload next to them, it's something to worry about, and it doesn't really matter who's behind the wheel of a good program as long as they let go of the button and the car goes down. So it was it was definitely a lot of worry and a big sigh of relief when we got by that round. I felt much better heading to the final, but again, there was no easy rounds in any of it for us that I feel anyway. I'm always gonna question my ability with getting in and let go of the button. There's nobody harder on me than me, except my son. He's pretty hard on me, but it's a lot going in there, and I really worry about trying to cut a good light every time I'm up there.
Right after we had our round, he come walking up to me and he was like, "Dude, one more race, and you probably would have beat us if you had one more. If you came in one more race, the way you're."
He's already a salesman.
And he just pumps me and he walks off, and I go, "He's still the same kid I met, 4 or 5 years ago."
Yeah, he's he was mad at himself. He was 003 red first round at this race. He lost in the third round from Darlington. That was his first race in Pro Junior in the 790 stuff on the Pro Tree, which I think is a lot of fun for the kids. And we had it tuned up a little bit, and he was 003 red. But you know what? He was upset for a little bit, as you should be. You should have just brushed it off immediately, and then he was back on our program, and then also helping Cole because we were running another junior, one of my girlfriend's boys in top junior, and we went down there with him as well. So between the big car and then Richard Tillman and his kids, we had 4 juniors that we were all running. So it's kind of a team effort down there for everybody. And we ended up borrowing a car from Jason at 1320 that he had for sale. And we borrowed a motor that was brand new, built by Ron Hubble from Justin Dudley, which his son races 890 as well. We put it together, and he had 3 qualifying shots. He got in on his last qualifier, so that was a sigh of relief. And got by first round, got by second round. We had to run the guy that loaned us the motor in third round, and we beat him dead 4. And then we won the final round. So that was kind of a best appearing crew, 2 wins for us, and we won top junior, and that was his first race at PDRA on a big stage. His nickname's the Iceman, and I texted his mom and dad. I'm like, I see where he gets it, because he was cool. So yeah, his dad's done a great job bringing him up. Just and all his kids, they have 4 kids and 3 of them race. So his dad did a great job bringing him up, kind of like I did with James. They're kind of very much the same with these juniors, and that's all they talk about and think about, and bracket race, everything. So it was a lot of fun. It was tough, but a lot of fun.
And that was with the car that you guys built at the track.
We got the car from Jason, 1320 fabrication, right? His stuff is mint always, and so it's an old car. It was originally ordered for Frank Falter the Fourth, Candyman. Yeah, if you get, he's like, I don't know, 6'3" now. It's kind of funny, but it's a 20-year-old car that Jason totally redid, and he had it for sale. And Tillman and I are like, can we borrow that? He's like, yeah. And then Justin had the motor, so within an hour and 20 minutes of borrowing everything, we had it together and running.
Now that was the car you were putting the fuel injection on.
So that car was just for testing. That's Axer Performance, and Chris, who actually works for Chris Reaney and Carson, and he helps Carson a lot. So he's done a lot of fuel injection kits. This is the first one he's getting it ready for his daughter, who runs a she's a little bit younger, so her car's a little slow. So he asked if we could bring somebody to run it a little bit for us and test it. And it's not quite ready to race yet. So once that was over, like, man, this kid's here. We need to get him something to race. So luckily the junior community came through for us, and we were able to win the race with it.
So basically you built 2 cars.
Yeah. It feels like there's always one getting built. So that's for sure.
How's the balancer program working out on the juniors?
Yeah, it's we've sold 200 of them so far, and I'm gearing up to make a big run of them now. Finally, it's I've never put a damper on anything that didn't have one and made it worse. It's they are really shaky everywhere down low, so it helps that part out of it a lot. And then up high, it helps. And to me, you've got 1 cylinder, 1 spark plug. You've got to efficiently burn the fuel. And to do that every single stroke, you've got to have the right timing. And if the crankshaft isn't doing any of this, the timing is going to be mint every time. And it just makes it more consistent as far as I can tell.
How about the weight of the balancer on the crankshaft? Does that give it a little bit more inertia and a little bit more hit off the starting line with the heavier crankshaft?
A lot of people were worried about the weight. It's about a pound heavier than all the non-damper flywheels that are out there. So, but everybody's leaving from 4,000 RPM. So really,
I would think it would hit a little bit harder.
Yeah, it's a little quicker off the line, especially on the 890 and up. The littler cars not as much, but they run the small light one, and then it's a little less per womp, because you have some inertia, but not a whole lot. But these kids that are very good at it, that know this is 200s, it might only be 1.7 or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in your dad's day, we would run a 60-pound flywheel, so that things would leave the starting line when we had 287s and 302s and stuff like that. So I was just thinking that thing might hit a little bit harder.
The NASCAR guys, there was 2 camps. One for the restrictor plate races when they had no horsepower and they were kind of slick cars. They would run the biggest, heaviest damper, the biggest, heaviest flywheel. So every time they got off it, in the draft or bumping, they could get back on it and it would accelerate. So the other camp ran the lightest stuff they could, so it would try to run up quick. So to me, a little bit of extra inertia, especially when you're bracket racing, is zero issue. And anything that's leaving from an RPM, it's not nearly as bad as if it's leaving from 0.
Yeah, to accelerate it. Yeah, I'm working on a bunch of airboat stuff right now, and we got to flat foot these things from 1200 RPM, and it's a whole new world because we don't leave with any RPM, and it's made me rethink a lot of stuff for that application. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, those things are cool. I rode in a couple down in Florida, and they're interesting.
So we can run 360 and 400 feet in one right now. So it's pretty neat.
Damn. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. It's as fast as you want to go.
Yeah, water hurts when you get going fast. It hurts a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know nothing about that part. not a thing.
It's funny when they lay over and run out of power, they blow over backwards because they lose their drive and push and keeps it on the ground. So
So the ass end comes up and flips over?
No, the bow over stern. They flip over backwards. Yep. When they run out of power. Like right now from like the torque roll and stuff like that, we've got a bullhorn on one side turned up and turned down on the other side, trying to take some of the torque roll out of them. And they're an interesting project.
For sure.
It's different.
Yeah. White trash with cash. They'll do anything.
Now, and you JC, you only got like just Scott helping you, right? Most of the time at the track?
Yeah, we've got Todd's full time at the shop, and he can fabricate and do anything, and he will only do it exactly right. And that's what we need. And then it's Scott and James and I at the track. We get back, and it's kind of a group effort getting the car up on stands, and then depending on where I have to go with James or whatnot, we'll start doing plugs and lashing and pulling springs, and James will do the parachute. And then Richard, who parks with us, he does the bottles up on the starting line. Scott does the wheelie bars in the backing up, and James puts me in the beam. So we don't have a lot of people. We've got the Copo going together for Super Street, and it's about done. So I've got a couple extra guys coming for VMP in Maryland. As long as testing goes well, we'll have that out. It's Sean Miller and RFD built the engine, and it's got a single turbo on it, so it's going to be a little bit of a different combination for us. But I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun. So it's I've never had a turbo. Everybody says it's going to be neat. So
okay,
find out.
On the third round, you started a burnout, and then the car kind of went to the right.
Tell me about it. Yeah. Scared the crap out of me. Doing a burnout, and I really struggle to get the car not to shake or chatter real hard coming out of the burnout. I'm working on it. We have a burnout limiter in the car, just so I can try and be consistent with that. And I think between the track conditions and the crappy air, we needed a little more limiter. So I went down on the throttle and it started to grab, and I went down some more and it was on the limiter and there was nothing there, and it shook real bad and shut off. And I'm like, we're done. It must have rattled a relay out or something stupid. And I'm looking at the buttons and I look up, I'm like, shit, I'm rolling towards the center line. And I hit the button. I was like, it's never going to restart, but it fired up. So, and went A to B for sure. That was a little nerve wracking for sure.
I caught it on the live stream, on a replay of the live stream. I was like, what's going on there? What's happening now?
Yeah, believe me. Because last year there was with the NA car, it shook once like that and burnout, never restarted. And then once before that, it shut off right after the burnout, the fuel pump had died. So, of course, your mind goes to worst case scenario for what's going to happen and go from there. But
all right, so we appreciate all your hard work and dedication. However, it has done one thing. You won back-to-back races, and we all love that and all. And I'll pull this up real quick. You are now on the top of the totem pole here in the points after 2 races. And with that said, we're just gonna have to put a bounty on your head, sir. So we've decided to collectively say $100 to the winner.
No, whoever, not the winner, but whoever takes them out.
Yeah, to the winner. $100 to the winner, the one who wins against you. So whoever takes you out, the next event or the event after, we got $100, and if anybody else wants to get on top of that too, we can up this. But I think that's something we're going to do from now on. If you back-to-back wins, that person's going to have a bounty on their head for at least $100. And so good luck with the next race, because there's an additional $100 for first round. You lose, somebody's going to make $100. So there's something we have to do.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind if anybody wants to go when we get there right off the trailer next to each other and bet some money. I'll do that too.
Whoa,
like
wow.
That's always fun.
So we know during qualifying we can't do anything.
Man, if people don't feel like that, then they're just not heads up competitive folks. I love it. That's the way it's supposed to be out there.
But in testing now, off the trailer, anybody?
Yeah, that's even better. I mean, if you're going to
testing Thursday,
yep.
Woo! Hey, what you want to put on that, JC?
Whatever.
I'll go $100 with that against anybody.
Hey, David Cook says he wants a rematch. He said off the trailer. Is that what we going with, David?
I'm good off the trailer with him. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Ed's in. Ed's always in for a race. He's always in. He's got. Listen, he'll give you like 2 good Wagyu steaks.
We need to get Ed some Loctite first.
I don't the bounty and all. Yeah, the bounty's good, but I mean, I guess we stirred the pot enough that PDRA had to come over and check out my logs and see how a car was acting too.
Well, that's the sign that you're running good, because they harassed the shit out of us a year ago.
Yeah.
And the fact that we haven't got harassed by that in a while just kind of tells me we're just not there right now. So that's when you're running good, is when you make friends with tech. So
yeah,
that should be a respect thing.
I wish they would do more of it and do it to everybody. It's
absolutely.
We talked all winter about 3 speeds, no lockups, and all this stuff, and then people that chose 5 speeds and lockups, are hurt now about it. So. It's funny how the tables turn pretty quick with that, and it can turn for me just as easy as anybody else. But it's a rule package that's been in print, and I don't think anything changed, right, for 5 speeds and lockups, right? Everybody got 50 off, so all of a sudden it's a problem. But I guess that's heads up racing.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's funny just how fast all that stuff goes. But one thing that's an advantage for you is I think you can, if lobbied correctly, it could really be good for business.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, which is probably a percentage of the reason you're out there doing it. So
it's marketing, it's R&D, it's fun. Trying different things, and
is that what it says on top of the receipts?
And seeing what's going to work. Oh, it definitely says R&D on all the receipts, and that's for sure. And for sure, who the guy I think we're missing the most for knocking people out is Carson too, with his band.
Yeah, I think he's definitely, as he showed in qualifying there, he's definitely a player. Just kind of run up against some woes at the moment, which we all go through. Hopefully they're short-lived for them. I mean, with the car count the way it is, we can't afford to be losing anybody that actually showed up. So
it's amazing how many people are breaking at it. We never had this many people breaking a race before.
And I've been analyzing it, and I'm not sure if it's some guys in an effort to get out there and make sure they make a race, maybe come up a little bit ill prepared, or if it's just bad luck. I'm not a big luck fan, but
I would say Ed was bad luck.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the scenario to say one way or the other.
Basically, he's
Carson, I know, suffered from a couple different scenarios, both working against him, but they'll figure it out. That's a bright bunch over there, and got good help and good equipment.
Yeah, it's just the halo that holds the hood scoop up. A screw came out and fell into the throttle or into the carburetor, and then that just raised havoc for him. So he did luck out because it was only a piston, and they cleaned up the sleeve and had her touch up the head.
Yeah, but it looked like it took a breaker bar to get that spark plug out.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, I haven't. That's when we
Probably.
cut. That's when we cussed around here in the shop. Like, why'd you take it out?
But
Right.
that's okay. He's designed those heads, and he can make another one soon. So
No, he's got it. It's already being fixed, and it's going back to the CNC to fix the chamber. They got it all welded up already, so he's going to machine a chamber on it. And
Chris had fuel pressure issues that they didn't catch right away.
Yeah.
On that thing, which is tough. I mean, we know Carson's fast from last year, and just what he's done already out there this year with his program, other than some just bad luck. And yeah, we all have it. I wish some of the other guys that are coming would come. It's I mean, we had a bunch of people in the 19s, I think, at this race.
The field definitely got tightened up. It seemed like it was the field just got tighter and tighter, the spread from the front to the back. And I like that a lot, but we just needed some more car count.
Well, Billy Gibson got his shit straightened out, and he will be in Virginia. I did talk to a guy, Corey, and I guess he owns that silver Camaro, the third gen that used to come, the silver Z28 that used to come. He's showing up for Virginia, supposedly. Corey, he's got like his Facebook's got two names to it, and I came across Corey Terry. He came up and introduced me. Matter of fact, I told him he watches the show, and I told him to introduce himself in a comment so we could put a name to the face. Him, Tara's supposed to be back. I don't know what the Liberties are doing. I don't know what Tim and Gary's doing. I seen a post with him standing in his living room with his fire suit on, so I'm assuming we're getting closer.
That's when you're getting antsy,
right?
There's a local guy up here who has a car at Henry Freifogel's that's been working on for a while. I think it's in wiring right now. He's in the group chat, so it'd be awesome if everybody showed up. I wish the class could be like old pro stock with everybody separated by a few hundreds.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. JC, don't you still have another car? Let's get Reenie out there in a car.
If anybody wants to yell at Jason Line to finish the other motor that he's had for a year, that'd be great. And we'll get it out there. So I just gave him some shit this week.
I'm saying nothing.
It's he's had it for a while. Him and Sandy Wilkins are working on one that's and it was just it was always going to be a backup piece. And it was going to go in the other car to start testing. It was actually James's idea, and we're like, okay, great idea, James.
How close is that?
James can spend your money.
It's he said it's getting worked on. That's what's that? You're an engine builder. What's that mean?
It just lacks completion.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Just lacks completion.
Yeah.
Patrick, is still getting worked on?
Hey, I'm not talking about that right now.
Next topic.
Next topic. 6 cars, 19 or better.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was tight.
Perfect.
And I mean,
how many different combinations of transmissions and things do we have in there? Is everybody a non-lockup 400 now, or
no? There's
who
the Pittman, and then
Pittman's got a bolt action training, and Pittman's. Who else?
Pittman's 5 speeds in a lockup, I think. And then the Melnick or
we lost him.
We lost him.
Oh man. Hey, Jason.
Yeah,
I like the banner behind you.
Sorry,
like that banner?
My back.
Where'd you get the banner?
That was courtesy of David Cook Racing.
Yeah, you're back.
David Cook Racing.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I guess James isn't watching since he just tried to FaceTime me.
You got to put
I think there's and then there's 2 guys with 5 speeds in a lockup or not a lockup, and then there's that one guy, Kyle, I think it was last year. He had 5 speeds and maybe a lockup.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of 400s.
Nicole.
We're 400 non-lockup, so which you could do a 400 lockup if you want it. It's not something we've tried yet, though.
I'm not sure we've got the power for it in a 3-speed, to be honest with you. I don't know. It'd be, I mean, a good test for you, but it's a kind of an expensive test for a lot of other guys.
Yeah,
But-
definitely. I mean, we make 8 and 9 inch lockups, so you could take the.
There he is.
Bro,
Why are you
bro.
FaceTiming me while I'm on this thing, James? Thanks, bud.
Why don't you bring him in?
He's not here. He's with his mom.
Yeah.
So,
I'll send him a link.
we can get him on
right now.
And all he's gonna do is heckle me. Anyway. So.
Get him on. Lock it in.
You want him on?
Sign him up, Jason. You'll have to talk to his people.
Yeah. Gotta talk to his people.
Yeah, but we keep kicking around trying to lock up, but we still have some other stuff to test and things to try. So as soon as we get the motor back, we'll hit MIR and put some laps on it. So what Troy says, faster without a lockup. But
Right.
yeah.
I think he's done.
How's your program, Jason? What do you got?
I'm trying to get your kid on here right now.
Everybody's locked up.
Jason is got a nice frozen grin on his face right now.
Is Jason locked up or am I locked?
No, Jason's locked up. There he
goes.
goes.
I'm trying to send your kid the invite.
Can't hear him.
You need to get them white glasses in your script, Jason, so you can wear them on the show.
Lucky I'm just trying to be kid friendly this show right now, there, pal. I can take the heckle about the necklace, not the white glasses. No.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Those white glasses. They look.
I mean,
this phenomenal.
The smile is not to scale or the chain.
Okay, whatever.
The chain is undersized.
At least I had my teeth in that time.
Hey,
you
so
want me to invite your kid in or not?
I can't hear Jason. Can you hear him?
I hear Jason.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear anybody?
Can't hear him.
I'm messing with you. I can hear everybody.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. I can't hear Jason right now, and Patrick's gone.
How do you get that feature?
That's interesting.
Coming from the guy who talks too much.
I know. I'm over here biting my tongue. You guys tell me I talk too much.
Troy says he hears all of us, so I think it's just Jason.
I'm gonna jump out and jump back in and see if he.
We can hear you fine.
Okay. I don't know. Jason have to do sign language or type or something.
You don't need to hear me. Don't need to hear me. Other than that,
he dropped off, I guess.
He said he was going to drop off and drop back in.
Yeah.
Where's Oh, I know how I can do this. Trying to get James a link. If I go on my computer, it freezes up.
All right.
I can send him the link. It's easy.
I hear you.
He's a minor. He may not be able to accept stuff from you guys.
You would know about stuff like that.
There you go. Jason's back.
Hey, JC, real quick on the technical side of things. We talked about inertia and the junior balancer on the crankshaft and all that stuff. Let's talk a little bit about driveline inertia with aluminum versus steel or aluminum and steel combination torque converters. Where does your company and yourself stand and what recommend in a application like yours?
We don't make an all aluminum torque converter, so I might be biased, but I don't have anything against them at all. You can do a lot with a 5-axis bolt together all aluminum converter with blade angles and how many blades and where you want them. So I'm not against them at all, but it's not something we do. So our converters, a lot of either a Nissan core for the big guys or the GM cores for 9 and 10 inch stuff, or the Opel core that we make from scratch for the 8-inch stuff. So our converters have steel, billet aluminum front cover on it, bolt together, and then we've got billet aluminum stators in straight blades or airfoil with steel rings on them. We made small steel ones for the turbo cars, and the Pro Mods, the LDR, your big 3,500-ish horsepower cars need all steel pretty much with the stators. So, but yeah, we're a hybrid bolt together converter. It's not the lightest thing out there. It's certainly not the heaviest, but like we talked about earlier, it's leaving from 4,000 plus RPM. A long time ago, Chris, like back to back, our heavy steel converter that was a lockup, the first one we came out with, and he had borrowed an all aluminum lockup. It was like 8 or 9 pounds lighter, and if it was a few thousands different in 60, that was it. It didn't, your low horsepower cars that are really horsepower limited that leave from lower RPMs, your stockers and super stockers, they could handle a lighter converter, but then it doesn't give anything back on the top end when a little NA engine has its tongue hanging out. So the guys that that run the all aluminum stuff, there's nothing wrong with it. I think you can accomplish just as much. We're, I think, 3 pounds heavier. And people worry about the weight of the stator as well.
In the moment of inertia really low on the stator, though?
Well, it's hung on the stator tube, so it's just there. It's along for the ride. It's not being accelerated or decelerated, right? If it's spragless, it's certainly just sitting there. If it has a diode or a sprag, it doesn't need to go like from 0 to real fast. So it's not. It's kind of an acceleration as you get down track. It starts to catch up speed and match with the engine RPM. So, you can take a 5-pound steel stator. And you're like, geez, it's so heavy, but if you really think about it, it's not doing a lot. In the lower horsepower, the quarter mile guys that are doing burnouts all the time and snatching the tires, a sprag is susceptible to kind of rolling or getting hurt. It's usually in the burnout that it happens. Diodes have really taken care of a lot of that. Eighth mile stuff, you can get away with spragless all the time. And the guys that are bracket racing or, one of the .90 classes, they run spragless all the time. And just like we talked about the junior with the ET per womp, a spragless converter gives you more loss per womp as well, as compared to a sprag converter.
Speaking of spragless stuff, and spragless stuff's notoriously really efficient.
I can't hear Chris.
You can't hear Chris now?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Damn it.
Damn it, man.
I don't know.
How you doing, Jason?
I'm on my Wi-Fi. I'm good.
I'm fine. I ain't doing nothing.
Hello.
Chris, Patrick left the room to go to the bathroom.
But I think he messed it up.
You want a middleman Chris's question?
I could.
I can go back to my flashcards.
Oh, no, not the flashcards, please. What are you asking, Chris?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. So my question is, we spoke about spragless stuff. So spragless stuff is notoriously very efficient in slip at the finish line or down track. Sometimes I've even seen stuff overdrive itself to where it'll have a 0.98 or something engine to drive shaft ratio. Does he feel like that holds the car back from acceleration when they're really tight or gear bound or overdriven, let's say, where the engine is slower than the drive shaft?
I should have recorded that fucking thing.
Hey, long-winded, highly recommended. I don't know what to tell you.
Basically, if I could shorten this up, he wants.
Oh, that's the whole question.
I can't repeat all that.
Oh my gosh.
No, we lost JC again. Brian Claus says yes to your question.
See, he understood.
My back.
Oh, I understood. It was just so long.
JC, can you hear me? JC, can you hear me?
No, I can't hear Jason.
That's fine. You don't need to hear me.
Can you hear Chris? Can you hear me?
Or Chris. Patrick, you can hear me? I can hear you?
I hear you just fine.
How about me?
Sorry. My mother just called me.
You got to put your phone on Do Not Disturb.
Can't get away.
Patrick,
I'm going to jump out and jump back in one more
I hear
time.
you just fine. Are we doing this again? No one hearing nobody? Get out your sticky notes, Chris.
I will.
I'll be right back.
When he comes back on, Patrick, tell him not put his phone on Do Not Disturb.
All right. So we have a Corey here.
Do you guys feel like you're talking to me all of a sudden with this technology stuff?
Right. Corey's the guy that you there now?
I am here.
Put your phone on Do Not Disturb.
Please.
I don't know how to do that.
All right, me either. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. So notoriously, a spragless converter is very efficient in slip. And sometimes I've even seen some scenarios where the drive shaft's faster than the engine and it's essentially an overdrive or 0.98 or something engine to drive shaft ratio. Do you feel like that's got the car in the engine bound up? Or does a little slip help the engine accelerate and the car run faster?
Yeah, with NA combinations for sure, a little slip gives that motor something to keep going for. That was something Tech wanted to see when they were down. They wanted to make sure I had converter slip and it wasn't locked up. The spragless stuff, you know, overrunning at the end and overdrive, it doesn't seem to help the ET as much as it should. And it's kind of a weird thing. Every time I see that, I kind of scratch my head that it's doing that, because the fluid, you know, is having to be pushed through the stator the entire time instead of it all freewheeling. So it doesn't, it's never really made sense to me that's what happens down track with the spragless stuff. You know, that spragless converter was patented like in 1982 or something by Bob Mays, and he let the patent die because it was never really took off. And honestly, the two reasons to have a spragless converter is you don't ever want to break a sprag in your bracket race, and that's fine. And it's cheaper than a sprag or a diode. It's cheaper to make. We charge $100 less if you're not getting a sprag in our converters.
All right.
So
Now we get all everybody's hearing each other.
So just to clear the air, you brought up Tech came to visit you. Did they indicate what they were looking for? Or I mean, or were you just suspect because you ran well? I mean,
yeah, they asked me if I thought the mile per hour 174 was accurate, and I thought it was. We had a tune up in it for it, and I didn't mess anything up, and the car went down. So they wanted to see the slip. They weren't pointing fingers. They're saying that we were doing anything wrong. They were more just saying that people that run a lockup were upset about the mile an hour and the weight that they have to carry for the lockup. Last time I checked, I've never seen the mile an hour clock light up a scoreboard with a win. So I'm not sure why the mile an hour matters. If the car is efficient, runs right, the mile an hour is there. But you know, we all looked at the rule book and decided what to pick for a combination with the weights that were there. And most of us wanted no lockups and 3 speeds over the winter as well, just to keep everything easier for everybody. But that's they weren't pointing fingers. Nobody was saying we were cheating at all or pointing fingers at us. That they just wanted to look at that to make sure it wasn't a lockup, and I guess start collecting some data to possibly make a weight change for lockups. Which is fine. I wish, I mean, when I circle track raced, you couldn't get through Tech if you had a sticker at a place. They would put an X through it and send you to the back. And to me, drag racing has always been so light on Tech that it kind of irks me with some of that stuff. Except for like at Indy when they tear your stuff down, which kind of sucks. But it's still go to the Tech barn in Indy. You know, but now most of that stuff's gone as well. But I spent 5 years in a row going to running stock and super stock at Indy, and you know, trying to run class and heads up with, you know, different combinations, and that's every bit as hard as this class, if not more, because you're very horsepower limited.
speaking of this class, how are you enjoying it? I mean, obviously coming off a couple back-to-back wins, you're riding a high, but the work, the maintenance between races, between rounds, all that stuff, it seems to be an enjoyable thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a lot more fun when you're winning. We would beat our heads against the wall with the NA combination, trying stuff and just running the same. So, you know, the motor went together last year and it was fast, but we fought valve springs breaking and rocker arms and all kinds of stuff. Made some changes over the winter. The guys did down south, and knock on wood, 0 issues this year with the valve train. Adjust a few valves here and there, pull the springs, and they're staying up. I mean, you know how it is when everything's going okay and the car went down and shit didn't blow up. it's not so bad when you're just doing regular maintenance. It's when we need to change a transmission, or we need to put some springs on it or something, that it gets a little hectic. But otherwise, Scott, James, and I and Richard have a pretty good procedure going. It gets tough if James is going rounds and Richard's kids are going rounds with Pro Junior, and we're still going rounds in the car. That gets a little harder, but it's all part of the game, right? It's fun. These. I mean, you guys know, you get home from these weekends and you're done. It's
You get a weekend off. Yeah.
Oh, me and Matt call it the racing hangover.
Yeah, and that's we spent the night at the track this time. It's only the second time we've ever done that. It was 2 a.m. when we got done packing up, and Scott and I are like, yeah, let's stay here. So got up at 8 o'clock, and I mean, I wasn't home until 5 o'clock on Sunday, and start over Monday morning.
Get the motor out.
Well, I mean, thank God I got Todd in the shop. When by the time I saw anything Monday, it was a picture of the motor. You get home Monday, you don't want to even look at that race car. Think about it. So it's I'm in my office playing catch up, and the motor was out and on the pallet, and I'm just arranging where to ship. So it's that's really I mean, it's the only way it works for us. Certainly couldn't do it without Todd and Scott.
Mr. Coleman asked a question. Is that Jason Land motor NA, or is that a nitrous motor?
That started as an NA motor that we tried. It's got 9-degree Brodex heads on it. It got assembled as a high RPM NA motor. We tried to run it. It never went any faster than our other NA motor, other than it was 90 pounds lighter with an aluminum block. So it's certainly not going to be an optimized engine, because he had to start with stuff that was kind of already done. But hopefully it's enough that we can flog some things and test it and try a few different things, and see what we got. So when we got the new motor and knew it was okay, we sent that one to Jason.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And yeah, it's going to go in the white car that we have. That's a good car. We ran a little bit in with the NA combination that we ran in Top Sportsman with. We had a steel block 3V motor that came from Caruso. That's been freshened by Tilburg now. So.
Gotcha.
But it's if nothing else, hopefully we'll add another car to the car count. So
there you go.
Yeah.
George was wanting to know why you were sending it back, but you said it earlier. I guess he got on late. That between the two races, you put on 50 plus laps on the engine doing testing prior to. So
between testing and racing, and then having kind of 3 weeks between this race, it was either now or it was going to get way too many runs on it, as far as I was concerned with that. So nothing. I mean, maybe it's a little down. Maybe that's where some of our power, some of our ET went. I mean, the second race we got outran by Pittman and your stuff with Cook. So maybe it's down a little bit. We'll see. We took it out. We didn't do any maintenance to it. I wanted to send it down there and let him pull the springs and check the lash and make sure we're not doing anything stupid. Everybody checks things a little different, and just to make sure we're on the same page with it. But usually we get back and we'll pull the springs, all the valve train comes off. Obviously all the filters get gone through. Then all the rocker arms get checked. Push rods get looked at. And then we leak it, check the compression, flush the fuel, fog it, and put it back together and hope it all works right the next race.
Okay.
Just to be sure. If it's going to sit too long, I forget, you can probably tell me, Chris, where you roll it over and you only got to take like 2 springs off to get the pressure off everything. So if it's going to sit for a little while.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, everything seems to be working out. I say keep up the good work. Get that second car out there. We surely need it, man. I was really pumped that we are going to have a full field, and we've yet to achieve that. So
I know it. I wish we get everybody out there. It's a lot more fun. I mean,
I think a bump is so important. It just is an achievement to qualify at that point. And now I kind of feel like it's an all-run field when we're shy of a full field.
Yeah, and it makes you know, a guy, you know, if you get two buys and stuff like that, it kind of, I don't know, it just dilutes it a little bit. Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, yes,
Winning is great, but when you've got some free rounds, it just
yeah,
it almost becomes a strategic thing on where you qualify at that point. You know.
right. And that's, you know, for Darlington we had one buy, and then for this race we had one buy as well. And second round with Jason was a buy to the final. So, you know, a couple of the other ladders worked out. Some people had two buys, which I mean, whatever that's racing. I don't know exactly how the ladder works with their X amount of cars or what they do, but and it sucks with everybody breaking. I mean, I
Sure.
get it. I get it though. It's not easy. So anybody thinks it's easy, put yourself together and come try it.
I've heard that's exactly the right way to put that, because I've heard so many people tell me how easy it's going to be, and then they show up and then they just fade away because they found out how easy it
Right.
wasn't.
Somebody at this race was asking me about it. He said he had a top sportsman car that runs 409s with his 632. Said
Perfect.
bring it on over. You're ready.
Yeah.
No one qualifier.
Yeah.
So,
Right. So we got a new driver that came in this weekend, Kevin McCurdy, who took the place of Jeff Melnick.
Kevin McCurdy, that used to run Pro Street and NMCA.
I guess so.
Oh, he's a lot of time behind the wheel. A good wheel man.
He's Kevin's worked on a few of our customer cars, and he's not too far from us, and he's bought some stuff. He's a hell of a guy.
Sure is.
And he knows every inch of that car and track and everything else. So it's if he sticks in there, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, good shoe for sure. Now, Greenbrier fielded the X Pro Nitrous 68 Camaro in 632 this weekend as well. Who was driving that, Jason?
Oh, you had to ask me that. I can't. Alton?
Yeah, that Rob Altman. He was at the last race too.
Yep. Young kid.
He made some good laps though, right? I mean, he was in the hunt.
I had him first round at Darlington, and
he went a 19 with a 7.
There you go. Perfect.
He was my first round. My first round race was me and him.
Yeah, the first race you won in a long time.
Right? Hey, I'm not even going to be mad about that. I'm pretty happy. I went down 8 times in a row.
Those guys, those guys at Greenbrier have Patrick tuning, and we can't forget how I have a remote tuner who's amazing, Dave Halen and Debo Tune, and those guys have Patrick there at the track doing their thing. We all have our tuners, and they're invaluable, obviously, whether it's keeping pistons in the damn thing or going down the track. So
yeah, I think it's one of those things too. It seems like the Greenbrier bunch always races pretty aggressive. You'll see them abort some runs and things like that, testing and maybe even qualifying, but I'll tell you what, when you give them 3 shots at the racetrack and qualifying, usually one of those is going to be a big swing. So, yeah, I like the way they race. I mean, we kind of race on the conservative side with, Jamie helping us and things like that. Car's very consistent, makes consistent laps, but I always feel like we maybe are a run behind, leaving a little bit on the table, but there's a trade-off, for the consistency and stuff. And with a young driver like David Cook Jr., I think that's important to give him some confidence and not having those aborted runs. But yeah, I really like the way that they race, and Patrick races on the aggressive side of things, and it shows in their performance.
And I believe Altman's running 2 cars for them. I think he's running that Super Street car.
He is, because the classes are always back to back, and it's a real pain. That's the same problem I went last year when we were running it, and then when we go again, we've been trying to get PDRA to maybe put a class between us if possible, but so far it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had Kevin's second round for Galad, and that was my best light of the weekend, because I wasn't going to doubt him or that Greenbrier car ever, so it's that was absolutely my best light. So
well, and the funny thing about that now is, like, the Ford was like the car, right? Mm-hmm. That was the car for everybody to beat. Now all of a sudden it's Jeff Pittman with the Chevrolet motor. Yeah, the Chevrolet motor. I mean, that thing's on fire right now.
I mean, I mean, honestly, Barry Allen builds good stuff. I mean, they won with an AMC. I mean, they've won with a Ford, a Chevy. I mean, so I mean, a good program is just a good program, no matter what's under the hood, and they've got a really strong team over there.
100%.
Cookout thoughts. The only two guys on this show didn't go to the cookout because we're too busy still racing. I popped in to David Cook's cookout. It seemed very lively. I seen a lot of racers there. I know he cooked 100 pork chops, and when I got back at the end of the night, there was only 3 left. And actually, he saved them for us. So he had pork chops, and had wings, and
David cooked vodka.
Yeah, right. And so I think it was received very, very well. I know JC, you wanted to do Maryland, but that's already taken by Billy Gibson's going to do Maryland. Virginia's coming up, and I actually reached out to Crystal to see if they had a person that could cater one out to us.
I would love to do it and do Maryland crabs, but and Virginia's a little far to get them and have them hot and bring them down there and do it. So
well, then how about if you split it?
Maybe we can switch. Yeah, if he's on there,
the two of you do one. You do crabs and he does something else, and
we can do that. I'll talk to him or talk to you through him, and because there's a place called G&M Crab Cakes, which is they ship crab cakes all over the world, and then just regular Maryland blue crabs is something to set up, and at Maryland, that basically our home track, even though it sucks driving there, it's one of those it's like an 80-mile drive that takes 2.5 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
But we can get, I can definitely get set up and have crabs brought there. So let's do that.
Okay. I'll mention it to him. As a matter of fact, there's a young, get sidetracked. There's a young man that came to my pit last year. Had a mullet on him and everything. And we gave him a shirt. And ironically, I have a friend that lives up in Maryland, and he's at a campground. And he shows this little kid in the campground, and he's got a Gladiator X Racing shirt on. So I look at the picture. I mean, it's a year later. I mean, and you know how much kids change in a year. And I'm like, that's got to be the same kid. So I sent my buddy back the picture that we took when he got the shirt. Well, tonight, right before I got on a show, I'm on the phone with Billy Gibson, and he sends me a text over. Hey, look what's in my shop. It's the same kid.
Joe Dirt's favorite shirt.
That's funny.
I'm like, I go, is this the same kid? And he's like, yeah, it's the same kid. I'm like, and I've been waiting for a reply, like, who is he to you? You know what I mean?
It gets around.
It's probably like his grandson or something. We don't even know about it. But
That's
yeah,
good.
I mean, so that stuff there is, what I mean? It's always, those stories are always, to me, priceless. I'll give kids shirts all day long. I could care less. It's for a kid.
Yeah. 100%.
But the cookout thing, I think it took off. I think it's a good thing to do. When I got there and I seen everybody, sitting at tables and everybody's bullshit with each other and everybody's having a great time. I actually seen Mr. Hood holding court. And congratulations to that guy. I mean, 7 years old, and he's laid enough pipe in 3 weeks to almost have a car.
Whoa.
Right?
That's a little,
That's a little graphic.
Easy.
God bless him. God bless him. However it comes out of my mouth, I don't care. God bless him, because you know what I mean? I built a car. To see an old man get that much done in 3 weeks, and he's not doing it all day long. He works a regular job. And that's just with him, his side time. So he'll be out with that. That's going to be a new body style Camaro, and it will have a nitrous bottle in it. Believe it or not.
Check it out. And one of the nicest guys around too. Just to help you with whatever you need.
All right.
Sure.
No, he is very knowledgeable too. So going on with that, I guess that's pretty much all I got.
JC, thank you for your time tonight. Congratulations once again.
Yeah,
And,
guys,
we got a friendly bounty on your head moving forward. Just try to put a little spice.
And Richard said he'll throw out $500 for anybody right off the trailer. So Tigman's
There we go.
he's got some backup for you there, buddy.
Man, yeah, he's confident. So,
He's just going to have your kid get your wallet.
you gotta watch it. He gets money and goes and gambles up there in the stands and comes back. Usually,
we gotta get your kid a fake ID.
Oh yeah, let's give it a year or two.
No, the best one was he goes here. You know, we raced packed up all night when he was leaving Darlington. We packed up and everything else, and you know, James just goes in the back and goes to sleep. He goes, he's got another year or two, and he's going to start driving. I was like, okay.
Damn right. That's I am looking forward to that. So.
The day he pulled into Virginia, he was behind the wheel. I'm like, what? Me and Matt were like, oh my God, look at this little kid. He's parking a total.
Yeah, he got us parked at this race. So he brought us all the way in and got us in the spot. So
good. I mean, he's a great kid.
Keep tuning him up. But it's it's when we joked in the pits that we just need to retire because it's gonna be pretty damn hard to ever beat this past weekend. So
right.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, it's that's drag racing. You're only as good as the last round of the last race, so it all starts over.
I wish you all the best of luck, but I don't want to see you do a three-peat.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the guy. I'm just saying I just don't want to see him in like.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against doing it. So
three 3 years in a row, I watched this guy with a white Camaro just like pull away from the rest of us at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, it's half season. We ain't catching them now.
Tell him, JC. Now it's a red and white Camaro.
Yeah, red and white.
Yeah, right.
Added a little color to it. So.
Oh boy.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for having me.
All
I
right,
appreciate it. I appreciate you guys doing the show and keeping everybody informed with what's going on and trying to get new faces out.
That's
all
it.
right. Thank you all. And like we said, Jason's got a bounty, or JC has a bounty. And Jason wears white sunglasses. So y'all have a good night.
All right. Have a good night.
Stay in. All right.